Josh had child images on his work laptop. He has been fully transparent and honest with me. Therefore, I know everything. So I'm going to set the record straight. Maybe she didn't know, or did she know? Do we think she knew? How did she not know? Absolutely, I knew.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. I am Sherrilyn, and I am so freaking glad you found me. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for joining me every single upload. You already know I love and I appreciate you so much. I already took a sip of wine. We're bringing it back, guys, to, Wine Wednesday, if you will. Specifically, for today's. I'd love to commit to that, but who knows? Every time I'm like, let's do it again, something happens. And it's like, no, it's going to be up on Friday again. So Friday just seems to be consistent, but I do miss Wednesdays. Anyway, I'm drinking wine, clearly, because we're talking about something that's really been stressing me out. It's not funny. It's not funny, but I'm laughing because that is how I cope. It's not enough that Chelsea and I talked about it on our channel, or on the podcast, I guess, if you will. I feel like I have more to say. We've got more to go through. So that's what we're doing today. Before I spiral though, I have a quick message for you. I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor today, Cookie Jam. You guys already know this about me. I love mobile games. Cannot get enough of mobile games. It's honestly one of my favorite ways to decompress, especially when I'm doing, deep true crime research, or even if I just need to turn my brain off for a little bit. If I just need to think of anything but anything. And so I've recently added Cookie Jam to my new staple list. It's so cute, so fun, and so satisfying. It's a match 3 game, which is totally my jam. You just swap the cookies and the candies to clear the board. You help your adorable little chef panda to work your way through over 11,000 levels. I've been playing it anytime I need to decompress, waiting for commercials to end on Bachelor in Paradise, winding down at night, pretty much playing it every time I'm not supposed to be playing a game. I'm supposed to be doing a million other things, but I'm a sucker for a mobile game. The best part is that you can play it anywhere. So no Wi-Fi is needed. Hello, new distraction on flights. I'm already thinking of my lineup for a flight that I have in September. This is how much I overthink things. So another reason why no Wi-Fi needed mobile games are super important in my life specifically, and I know a lot of yours. If you also love a good challenge like me, cute graphics, and specifically match 3 games, you have to try Cookie Jam. You can download it for free using the link in my description or scan the QR code on the screen. Plus, once you do, you'll get exclusive rewards to help you get started. Once again, you can download it through the link in my description or the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much, Cookie Jam, for sponsoring today's video. All right, like I said, Chelsea and I already talked about this topic on the Here for the Clout podcast, and since that episode, things have gotten worse, which is unimaginable because it's already horrendous. Trigger warning for this episode today, we will touch on the charges that this monster of a human pled guilty to and is in prison for, and they involve children. I won't get too graphic when it gets to that point, but the subject in general is just very upsetting and sickening just by hearing it. So I will say that. Let's introduce you, though, to these sickos, shall we? I say these. You will understand in one moment. He, and we'll learn who he is in one moment, is the only one with the charges, but you are going to see why I'm not going easy on she based on the statement that we are going to listen to. Okay, so who is he and she? He and she are Josh and Britney Stapleton, aka influencers of sorts. They call themselves the Gulf Coast Stapletons on social media. They have a joint TikTok account with 80,000 followers, a joint Instagram with 10,000. Britney has her own IG with about 9. And right now, Josh's Instagram is private, and hopefully it stays that way. Now, their persona online was kind of this fun, fitness-oriented, outdoorsy, living the good life couple. They spent a lot of time on their boat, so it was always with these sunny, fun, free beach outings. The two of them married in 2023. According to Britney, though, they knew each other years prior and were close friends. Okay, so they've got this like online presence of sorts, but offline, they both work for State Farm Insurance Agency in Cartersville, Georgia. I believe that they also, when I was looking at her State Farm profile, she's able to work in like Florida too and a couple other states. I'll have it pulled up so you guys can take a peek. So Britney works there as well. Now, why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about these Gulf Coast Stapletons who just trying to mind their business on social media? Because you can't believe everything you see on social media, and what this sicko did deserves to be talked about. So this criminal case began in early 2020 when law enforcement received a cyber tip regarding Josh Stapleton. This came through the ICAC, which is Internet Crimes Against Children program, and that sparked a joint investigation by the Cartersville Police Department and the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and also the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So there was a lot of bigwigs in on this investigation into Josh. Investigators were able to determine that between 2018 and 2020, Josh had downloaded numerous images depicting pubescent children in, I don't like to like demean what the seriousness of it by saying like sexual abuse situations, but we will get demonetized and people will not see the video if we don't. So that's why I do it. I don't do it to be like, oh, it's funny. Like I do it because no one will see the video unless you're literally notified and subscribed. And most of the time that doesn't even happen either. So that's why we do it. Now I have read through several of the 40 counts, okay, 40 counts. And I had to stop because of how sick I felt. I will have True Crime Mama's Substack linked in the description because she has them on that Substack. Please know they are very hard to read and graphic and include graphic descriptions of pubescent girls in very abusive, compromising positions like being bound, gagged, bound to chairs, beds, playground equipment, objects, and things. You get it. Body parts of grown-ups. It's freaking disgusting. Now, in 2020, April 23rd, 2020 to be exact, following the investigation, Joshua David Stapleton, who at the time was 34 years old, was taken into custody on April 23rd, 2020, and Cartersville police announced his arrest the very next day, so April 24th, 2020. So let's acknowledge the dates here, shall we? Okay, so he's taken into custody April 2020, known Britney for years, and then they marry in 2023. At the time, he was charged with 15 counts of possession of child. It's being reported as like pornography. That's not what it is, because that would imply, even Chelsea mentioned that today in the podcast, like, you know, that you're willingly participating, like producing this type of footage. No, this is exploitation. This is abuse. Okay. But they said that there was going to be additional charges possible because the investigation was continuing. And there was. He was eventually indicted on 40 counts of sexual exploitation of a child. These charges stemmed from the forensic analysis of Joshua's devices, mainly his computer, and uncovered this like cache of illegal images of minors that he had obtained from 2018 to 2020. Rather than go to trial, Joshua Stapleton, he pleaded guilty. This was a non-negotiated plea agreement. We'll get into the judge's decision and just some things that are going online kind of at the end of the video. But in the arrangement, he pleaded guilty to 20 counts of sexual exploitation of a child, and the remaining 20 counts of this indictment were dropped. According to the court documents filed on June 24th, 2025, the judge imposed a 20-year sentence, but his sentence is split. He is only going to spend 5 years in jail and the remaining 15 years on probation. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. So let's talk about Britney, all right? Because when Chelsea and I first talked about her, she had only really made 2 posts about the situation. They were pretty enraging to begin with, but you know, there was an element of like maybe possible sympathy of her situation. You know, you're kind of going through like, did she know? What was she told? Was she being lied to by him? But then the posts also kind of implied that she did. And we know that she did, and we'll get to that in 1 minute. But the days after this story broke, she had posted a Instagram story that said something along the lines of, you're not going to be hearing very much from me, but like, thank goodness for good friends. And just had a picture of this gift basket that one of her friends had dropped off for her. And then there was a static post on the feed that stays on the Instagram feed. I believe as of today, it is still there. And that post said, it was a photo of her on the boat with Joshua, and she's like laying on his lap. They look exactly like you'd think of by somebody named like the Gulf Coast Stapletons, okay? Like to the T. And the caption underneath it says, if this is the statement you're looking for, here it is. Basically, like, it's me and my man. So while Chelsea and I were kind of going through this and that feed post came up, I was like, okay, that kind of answered the question of like, did she know? She answered that like pretty clear without saying it. Like, yeah, I did, and I don't give a like, look at how cutesy we are on this freaking boat. Ugh. And then fast forward, like, I don't know, maybe like 48 hours after Chelsea and I filmed, this girl made an actual video statement, and we're going to go through it together because it's one of the most unhinged video statements I have ever seen in my life. And any understanding that I could have potentially had for like a wife in this situation vanished faster than her dignity is in this 8-minute video we're about to see. Okay, let's dive in, shall we?
I want to start off by saying that you are absolutely allowed to post anything that is public record, such as mugshots, indictments, court documents, anything like that, and give your opinion. But what you're not allowed to do is post anything that is a false statement that is damaging to someone's reputation. And I've seen a lot of it, so I'm going to set the record straight. But if I continue to see it, naturally I'm going to have to take legal action because it's absolutely illegal.
I'm sorry, we're going to be pausing a lot and talking. When she says that, it almost like makes me just want to like say something like incorrect on purpose because it's like, please. You'd think it's like she's like understanding, right? Like, babes, yeah, I get it. Like, this should be talked about. But like, let's set the record straight because like there's a lot that you guys don't know. That's how I went into it, okay? I was like, okay, what are people saying that's not true? Even though I read the indictment, but I was just trying to follow, okay? Just get ready, okay? Wait, where's my drink? Okay, I'm ready.
Now this brings me to the first question I continuously keep seeing. Maybe she didn't know, or did she know? Do we think she knew? How did she not know? Absolutely I knew. Josh and I were friends way before we ever started dating. So when the charges occurred, we were friends. You better believe I hit him up because as soon as I saw it, I have a really good judge of character and I knew something was up.
Okay. Okay, we're already stopping again. When someone says I'm a really good judge of character, this is all I'm going to see is like her face right now. Because again, that's like who you'd think, like, I'm a really good judge of character. I saw these charges. We've been friends, so I hit him up. Okay. And then she's like, because I knew something was up. Again, it's like she's implying that she's going to like have this big mic drop moment of, you know, this is false. Everything out there, or most of it that you're reading, is not true. She recorded this, she edited it, and then she posted it on social media. Audacity doesn't even touch her. Not at all.
I knew that was not Josh. We had already been on several trips together beforehand. I'd spent pretty close time with this guy, and I was like, something's wrong here. Josh was absolutely upfront with me about everything in the charges. There were no secrets. So that leads me to the next point. I continuously see things that say he lied to her and told her that his ex-wife set him up. Well, let's cover a couple things. One, I'm Josh's first wife. He has never been married before. Two, Josh has never blamed any ex relationship for these charges. He has never spoken badly about an ex. Next thing is that people are saying that he lied to me and he told me that he purchased a laptop or a computer off of Facebook Marketplace and the images were already on there. Josh has never told me that, nor have I ever been around him telling anyone that. The next question I continuously see is, do people with children or friends with children know about the charges? Absolutely. A, it's been all over the internet. If you didn't know, you just didn't know. But B, we have never in our lives been at someone's house around someone's children and not let them know ahead of time.
You liar, in my opinion. Are you joking me right now? Be for real, please. Please, 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 please. I said this today on the episode. I was like, so it's like, you know, you're at a barbecue, at a friend's barbecue, and before we like toss the burgers on the grill, just wait 1 second. You guys know about all the charges, right? All of the charges against me. And did you read them? Did you read how horrifically graphic and disgusting these photos were of children? And they were like, yeah, we saw them, Josh, but you know what? Britney's a great judge of character, so it's okay. Pull up a seat. Off.
Because we don't want anything to ever look sketchy. So we've always been absolutely upfront with everyone. And guess what?
We have more. We'll have more on this about like the sketch. She loves this like sketchy thing, and I'm like, you're sketchy. Just wait till you find out what she did with a Facebook group. Hold on, though.
A lot of these people have our backs because they have personally...
Again, where? Haven't seen them. Besides the ones that like coddle them in the Instagram comments. And I'm like, if you have not read the charges, don't comment. Like if you know them and you have just blindly decided not to read them because you don't want to like experience how disgusting it is, don't comment. Like that does so much freaking damage. And if you have and you're commenting that, you need to be investigated. I surely hope all of those investigators are looking at their social media page at everybody who is supporting them, riding hard for these people, because what the hell? How? Publicly. You just publicly go and defend somebody like this.
Witnessed Josh around their children and know that there's no issue. Next one. How was Josh allowed to leave the state of Georgia if he were out on bond? Okay, he was out on bond for 5 years. He followed all of his guidelines. He was not a flight risk. He did not lose his passport. He has not been in previous trouble to stop him from going anywhere. So yeah, he was allowed to live wherever he wanted as long as he reported it to the bail bondsman. And he did. He followed up every single time he was supposed to. So
Good job, Josh. Like the way she's like, he told me. And he didn't blame it on anybody else. He took accountability. He was like, I was that sick fuck. That was all me, Britney. And I reported to my bail bondsman. So I'm allowed to go wherever I want to go until prison. So you guys, I'm so heated.
There was nothing illegal going on there about where we live and our living situations. Next thing, I keep getting screenshots where people are saying Josh had child images on his work laptop.
This is the best. This is the best one, you guys. Child images on the work laptop. Listen to her rebuttal here.
False. Josh could not possibly have that on his work laptop because if you have ever worked for a corporation or any big company or anything along those lines, you know how secure those computers are. So that is a false statement. This one, it's up for grabs.
Was it? She was like, you better get your facts straight. I'm going to sue you if you say it was the work computer because it wasn't. It was his personal computer. Liars.
You're welcome to talk about it all day. People keep saying we were living fake lives. There was nothing fake about it. It was our life. I mean, we're just living like we always do. Anyone who is around us or has been around us on a normal day knows that was just us. We are still happy. He and I have no issues. He has been fully transparent and honest with me. Therefore, I know everything. I have been to court. I know everything.
I don't understand the flex, Britney. It's like I knew before you. I know everything. I know things you guys don't know. Imagine that. And we're fine. We're so good.
I can assure you that nothing about us was fake. People continuously say their lavish lifestyle was over. They thought they were such a power couple. All these things. Josh and I would never consider our lives lavish by any stretch of the means.
Who said that? Like, Britney, come on. That was you on the burner account.
If you know us, you know most of the time when we travel, we stay at a Holiday Inn. Our boat that everyone calls a yacht, 2005 model. We are not living some crazy lavish lifestyle that we are funding from child images. That is very far-fetched. Think before you speak. Family money got Josh out of this, and that's why he's not having to serve much time. Look up the charges. Look up the amount of time that a person serves. That's false. What you're saying is a false statement. There is no family money getting us through anything. Another one. Britney doesn't want children because she knows that Josh is a child predator. If you know me, or if you've ever known me at any period of my life, you will know that since age 12, I have never wanted children. Not interested in having children, never have been.
You guys heard that, right? Instead of denying that her husband is a child predator, she said, if you knew me since 12, you know that I never wanted children. I didn't want children anyway, so it's not because he's a predator. It's not because he's a child predator. I just didn't want kids anyway. Like, am I insane? Have you ever seen something like this before? I can't make sense. She's still going.
She's deleting comments. She's deleting and blocking anyone who says things that aren't nice. Duh. Wouldn't you? Why would I sit there on my page and allow people to try to tear me apart? Think about that. No, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, if you're hateful to me on my page, absolutely, you're blocked. If I see you commenting on someone else's page and you know me personally, blocked. Simple as that. My page, my rules. And last thing.
She shouldn't have a page at this point. Somebody in her life needs to take away all devices, all social media. Because it gets worse, you guys. This is just the first time she got on to talk about everything and said a whole lot of nothing except for validated everybody's questions about her husband being a sick child predator. But she's stuck on somatics.
Before I end on a positive note, because that's just who I am, let's talk about...
Let's end on a positive note, because that's just who I am. She's a good judge of character, and she's always positive.
Mental health. It is so fun to get views off these videos. I've seen all the true crime girls, their videos. I've seen it all. I've seen people posting multiple videos because they got excited, because they got the most views they've ever had, whatever.
Chelsea and I talked about this deflection and like trying to paint anybody who brings up these disgusting charges of the man that she chose to marry, stay behind, get on a camera right now while everybody is questioning what the fork, like, is this true? Did he do this? You come on and defend this person, and anybody who talks about it, they're the piece of shit. It's so fun to get on and exciting because you're going to get the most views. It's giving Elizabeth Teckenbrock with like you're talking about me and like those are the most views you're ever going to get. I can't. I don't have anything to say. I can't stand these people who are like, you're going to profit off of me. No, we're not. Your husband is a sicko and deserves to be called out for his behavior, and you are making the situation 100 times worse by doubling down and now painting yourself by yourself as a very strong defender of child pedophiles. Really, that's no other way to view it, in my opinion.
It is not the best thing in the world to profit off someone else's worst moment. I am one of the most mentally tough people you'll ever meet. Been through hell. Been through a lot in my life. I'm pretty mentally tough. Not everyone is. So I'm glad you guys chose me for this and to give me hell.
I'm glad you chose me for this. Like, we're the ones that just picked Britney out of random. Had nothing to do with the decisions she's made in life. Granted, she did not do the things that her husband did. But this attitude, it's like we're all wrong. I'm glad you chose me. I can't.
Like, I didn't just go through the worst week of my life. Like, I did not just lose my best friend. But I would say, think about that. Think really hard, because it would be really difficult to sleep at night if you were the cause for someone not to be on this earth.
This is another threat that people like this always do. Again, I know I already said it, Elizabeth Teckenbrock, but same thing. It's like, you are going to be the cause. It's like, no, these are the decisions that you have made in life. Nobody is responsible for the decisions you make except for yourself. Nobody has said that they wanted that. You made a decision by continuing to go to social media and being held accountable for the things you said, the actions you chose, and defending a man who deserves much more time than he's already getting in prison. For her to have this air about her for only 5 years, like, shut up. Shut the up. Do you know who like needs to be considered in all of this with their mental health and probably going to go through periods of life where they don't want to be alive because of the things that happened to them? The children in the photos on your husband's computer. That's who we should be thinking about and prioritizing the mental health, not you, because you decided to date somebody after these charges and then marry them. Oh, babe.
So say what you want to say, send me my death threats and send me all these messages. You can't.
Nobody sent death threats, please. I truly don't think that anyone's sending her death threats. Usually when people say that, they can never like show anybody that's sent death threats. That's another thing Chelsea and I talked about today. I'm like, I've never had like death threats. I've had people say like, I hope you die. That's not like a death threat. Like no one's coming to you. And if they did, you seem like very like legal happy by people getting like small details wrong about where child abuse photos, sexual abuse photos were on which computer.
Hurt my feelings. You can't cancel me because this was never a job. It was only for fun for us. We just enjoyed posting our memories and travels. But think really, really deeply before you post the things you do and you profit off someone else's life just to get your 10,000 extra followers and hundreds of thousands of views. Think about it.
It's so sick, you guys, because it literally just goes back to these children. Because somebody profited off of those photos of those children that he spent money to get. Like, think about that. Think about that, actually. This deflection is, oh my God, like it actually makes me just as sick as almost like reading the indictments.
And most of all, maybe think about reaching out to that person to see if they are even legally allowed to speak on the case before you do so. Because otherwise, you're just allowed to say whatever you want, and they may not necessarily be able to respond.
This woman is insane. Oh my gosh. Think about it, because they may not be able to, and you can just say what you want to say. That's how the internet works. No, you're not allowed to do what your husband did, which is why people are talking about it. I know who's making it worse by talking and opening their mouth? You. No one would be talking about this if you didn't come to the internet. Like, she's the one who has made this more public and mainstream than it would have been. And thank God, because like everybody should see their face, see his mugshot, know what he's done, protect their children for when he gets out, and be aware of the situation. Also, like, where the fuck is State Farm? What the hell are you doing over at State Farm? Anyways, like, for her to like try to spin this narrative, I have not been able to wrap my head around it. I haven't. Okay, so like I said, not only is she being criticized and now questioned online about like why you would be with somebody like this and then make this deplorable video statement, but it's coming out that after like she herself said in that video, all of her family and friends knew like she never wanted kids, had no interest in being a mom. We're finding out she was actually a part of one of her local mom Facebook groups and lied about being a mom to get in there. What the fork are you doing in a mom's Facebook group? What the hell? So yeah, right here, Britney Moore Stapleton. So in order to get in there, membership questions, they ask, like, can you be supportive? Yes. And then the question goes, are you a mama, a stepmama, or a baby mama? Yes. Yes, she says. No, you're not. No, you're not. Why are you in there? Then when last year, May 5th, 2024, she messages one of the admins of the group. I'm assuming when like local buzz was coming about like his charges. So I think that there was people in that group, you know, like sending screenshots and stuff like that of his charges and asking like, why the hell is she in here? So she reaches out to an admin. She's like, of course, I'm getting tons of screenshots of the comments, so I wanted to reach out to clear a couple things out. Feel free to screenshot and post my answers to the group. 1, an arrest doesn't make you guilty. Remember though when she's like, he told me everything. Told me everything. She knew all about this. Anyone who knows Josh has zero issues with him around their children. He was not convicted yet at this point, and he's actually probably one of the greatest people you'd ever meet. 2, I did not get into the group to be some sort of pervert. She did go on to say something, I think it was like, I don't know what the last sentence is, but like basically whatever. It's like, we already saw this. We already saw this deflection, this circle, this whatever. And now she can't even say like, be careful about the person you're talking to because they might legally not be able to talk about it. Why? It's because you don't want to, you just want to talk in circles. And at this point, you were banking on being able to, at that point, say he wasn't convicted. You didn't say we're still waiting. You didn't say the charges were dropped. What I want to remind everybody again is that the most upsetting thing in this situation, and her deflection she will never be able to deflect enough from what actually is the issue here. And it's that those were photos of real children. You know, like, my question for her would be, how can you seriously sit and consider that thought? And maybe, you know, like, I don't even care if you don't want to have kids. Like, if you don't like kids enough to not have them, maybe that's her thing. Like, it's like, you know, some people aren't really crazy about kids. But knowing that children are abused in the manner that they were in the photos that were on his computer, and that was sold and distributed, that is a real child out there. Their innocence is gone forever. Real children, sorry. Their innocence is gone forever. They will live with those memories for the rest of their life. For her to come on and say, think twice about what you say on the internet, as a ploy to like try to make people feel guilty, feel bad about finally exposing her husband to this degree and this story getting the traction that it needs to, because he's a predator and he's pled guilty to it, and you want people to feel guilty about talking about that. That's deplorable. Like, he pleaded guilty to these charges, and she has the audacity to film, post a video, get caught up on semantics like it wasn't a work computer. And everybody knows, like, I never wanted a kid anyways. You know, they think like I didn't want to have kids because they're saying he's a predator, but everyone knows I didn't want to have kids anyway. Like, and I'm not those were her words. Those were her freaking words. Anyways, you'd think that that was bad enough, and maybe she would just stop talking like she initially said she was going to do, like, in her Instagram story, because like that's literally where I don't know where anybody who's like, where's the girl who gave the gift basket? Because babe, you got to go back and get the freaking phone, because it gets worse. She posted another video, just like, again, some more like this guilt, like this like shame. Like, if you're still talking about it, it's shame. But listen to her argument.
Also, anytime I ever hear that anyone has said something bad about me, I just automatically assume they're a loser, they have a bad marriage or relationship, or they suck at their job, or they hate their job, and they're just unsuccessful. And you may have heard this.
That's it, Britney. That's it. Everybody who has said something about you and your decisions, they're a loser. We suck at our job. We're unhappy in our relationship and our marriage. What else did you say? I blanked out because everything that comes out of your mouth is like actually enraging, blood boiling. I need to check my blood pressure.
And you may have heard this before. No one more successful than you talks badly about you. Well, I've got one better. No one prettier than you has ever said anything badly about you.
I've got one better. No one prettier than you ever said. What are you talking about? I'm not actually surprised at all, because this broad 100% would put beauties above morals. Sure, speaks for itself. Britney, you're not getting it, okay? Some people don't want, you know, like they wouldn't want to sacrifice, you know, their morals and defending somebody like Joshua for, you know, like their beauty. Like, so I guess like if we talk about Josh, you know, I'm going to age 1,000 years overnight tonight. It's not clocking you. You're not getting that. Doubling down for a pedophile is not standing on business.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
And then, sorry guys, I know we just keep going because yeah, there's more. As I'm scrolling the comments, I was trying to find something about a separate allegation about Josh, a tanning salon allegedly. I have not been able to confirm it. So if I do, then I'll be back and we'll talk about it, probably on the podcast. But I did come across even more insane behavior by little Miss Brain Rot Britney. Turns out Britney's dad was arrested in 2022 in connection with an elderly man's death. So this was what was written about the situation. So on September 1st, 2022, Rankin County deputies were called to the 200 block of Oakdale Road, where a man was being treated for a severe head injury. Once deputies arrived on scene, they discovered that the victim appeared to have suffered from intentional blunt force trauma and was taken to a hospital. Investigators were called to the scene and began processing evidence and talking to witnesses. Investigators were able to identify Ricky Dwayne Morris as the primary suspect. A statewide statewide BOLO was then sent out to law enforcement agencies to include Morris's description and vehicle information. Members of the U.S. Marshal Task Force also began to search for Morris. A short time later, an officer with the Vicksburg Police Department identified Morris's vehicle and was able to take him into custody. Morris was transported from Vicksburg back to Rankin County Jail by the U.S. Marshal Task Force. Later that evening, the victim, identified as 72-year-old Grady Keith Allen, succumbed to the injuries suffered from the assault. Rankin County District Attorney Bubba Bramlett will bring Morris before Rankin County Court Judge David Morrow on charges of capital murder. Sheriff Bailey would like to thank the Vicksburg Police Department and the U.S. Marshal Task Force for the assistance in quickly apprehending Morris. The investigation of this incident is ongoing. Far as I know, he has not been convicted right now. Okay, now I get her dad and her husband, they are not her, okay? Their decisions do not reflect Britney. And I would not have had probably anything to say about her dad's situation if she hadn't commented on someone's TikTok who mentioned it. She just cannot help herself. So there was a TikTok posted by a gal named Kyle on the Coast. She made this short video about somebody in her DM saying, look up this name. And then that was because she was covering Joshua's case. And that's when she found that report and then basically like read that. I believe she even in her video didn't even say, I don't know 100% if this is Britney's dad or just a relative. Britney clarified that it was the dad though, because she commented on the video. She commented and said, Kyle, you feel free to say what you want all day. This isn't a threat, but I will warn you. You see these charges? This is not the one I would be going after. My dad has nothing to lose. I will not relay this message back, I think, and it says to, and I'm assuming him. What? Like, you're like, do you see those charges? Murder? He's not the one. He's not the one. That's a threat, babe. That's a freaking threat. Now, she did delete the comment, not Kyle. Britney tried to delete the comment, but Kyle had already like made a video of the comment. So then that comment's like stuck on that video, on that feed, right? I think she even mentions, I'll play the video of like of Kyle's response for you guys, but I hope she takes that to authorities because what the hell? It boggles my mind how she is just out here. Like, and won't stop. She's just like still doubling down. And how somebody this, in my opinion, like unhinged is working for a company as big as State Farm. Like, I can't get past that. Like, you're in charge of people's like life insurance. I think that a big one because that's like what my mom does. Like, you have control over like so many of like their like personal information, like financial information and stuff. Like, what? I don't know. And it's very brazen of her to, threaten and be like, I can't get canceled on social media because this isn't my job. But then keeps going to social media to just like further torch her reputation. Like, are you not thinking that the things that you put on a public platform, when you threaten somebody with your dad who was arrested for murder, and then you just think that you're still going to be able to just like wake up and go to that job? And that State Farm's just going to be like, yeah, that's a perfect representation of what we stand for over here. Where's the State Farm guy? Is it the State Farm guy? It is, right? It's not I'm thinking of the progressive gal. It's the State Farm guy. Where is he? Now, I want to leave on one more video that mentions the judge on this case and another individual on this case close to the judge with similar charges to Joshua's. And they're, just little food for thought from Kyle here. I love Kyle's vibe here. So I'm going to play that. I don't have too much to say about it because, it's kind of like speculation. But I do feel like, it can have its moment. And I also like the way that Kyle starts this video off with, talking about like the beauty comment that Britney made.
This is actually a thinly veiled threat. Anybody want to disagree with me here? So you unblocked me to show back up in my comments, basically saying that word's going to get back to your father and he has nothing to lose. And this isn't about views to me. This is actually about exposing people like your husband and sympathizers of those type of people. I've talked about it plenty on my page. In fact, I am consistently warning people to not post their children online at all, specifically in bathing suits, because of people like your husband. I don't know why anyone in your inner circle hasn't taken your phone away. Probably because they've all scattered. They're all gone. Because the backlash is well deserved. We don't have room for it on this app, in this community. None of it. So please, save your threats. I know plenty of people in the police department that would love to see this. Thank you for it. I'll go ahead and screenshot it and do what I need to do.
I have a feeling so much more is going to come out from this. This is where we're at right now, though. Like, there is more stuff like every single day. And if somebody doesn't take this broad's phone from her, like, oh my God, it is not going to end up well for her, I fear. Or, yeah, I hope she does keep talking, because there's got to be some consequences there, Britney. You've had chances, and just you continue to make poor decisions, babe. You need to, I don't know, have some sort of epiphany and apologize. You know, like not directly, because I'm sure none of the children on your husband's computer would ever want to hear from somebody like you. But, you know, like, just put that out there. Like, that's where the amends needs to go to. Oh, again, I'm going to play another video of Kyle's of where you can donate to victims of these types of crimes. That is, like, I believe local to where Britney and Josh actually are. So
Just hanging out on the Gulf Coast, the Emerald Coast. While I'm here hanging out, I'm reminded of our local CAC Children's Advocacy Center, and I've linked them in my bio. They did not ask me to do this. I'm doing this entirely on my own because it is an organization that is close to my heart. Gulf Coast CAC provides life-changing support to children that are victims of sexual abuse. While a war is raging on in my comments, sexual exploitation is a form of abuse. The Gulf Coast CAC offers services, specifically trauma therapy, at no cost to their patients. And they are one of the largest on Florida's Gulf Coast, so their services span from Pensacola all the way into Panama City. When the funding runs out, they are heavily reliant on donations. Like I said, I specifically highlighted the Gulf Coast CAC because it is one organization that is near and dear to my heart. I have connections within their organization, and I appreciate all of the effort that they go through to support victims of child abuse. Because if you look through my comments, it is truly a life-changing experience, one that they will live with and carry the burden of for the rest of their lives. You know who has been accusing me of doing this for clout, doing this for money, doing this for views, for followers, and she could not be further from the truth. I'm doing it to expose. In our back and forth dialogue through DMs, I did inform her that I would be making a donation to the Gulf Coast CAC as soon as I am paid out on these views.
yeah, the whole situation is just devastating. I've got to go now to figure out how to submit like some sort of like FOIA request for prison phone calls between these two, because I'm sure that there's something in there that would be really useful to law enforcement. I don't know if I can in Canada, so I got to call Gavin. I got to call Gavin Fish. He's good at that type of stuff, and I'll keep you guys posted, okay? That's it for now. I'm sorry I was super spicy and saucy today. I just had to get it out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to film this tomorrow. I'm so tired today. Like, written so many scripts, wrapping up everything for Elizabeth, and I'm like, no, I can't go to bed. I got to get this off of my chest. So now I've gotten it off my chest, and I will keep you guys updated on this situation. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I'm sorry if this was very triggering and upsetting. And I'm going to go finish my wine, okay? Don't forget to download Cookie Gem. I need it right now more than ever. It is free using the link below or the QR code on the screen. Trust me, you are going to love it. Huge thank you to Cookie Jam for sponsoring today's video. I definitely need it right now, okay? I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, make sure to love each other, love yourself, and I will see you soon. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and push the notification bell, okay? Because that's really sucking these days. Okay, I love you. Bye.